Namo Buddhaya. Good evening to one and all, and those people who are joining online as well. Today we dedicate the puja in the name of Srimati B. Chandrakanti. She is our Upasaka Vasudev's mother. Today is her birthday, so we dedicate puja in her name. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasam Supadipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti so Bhagavarahang Samma Sambuddho Vecha Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavido Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarathi Satha Deva Manusaram Buddho Bhagavate Namo Tassa Samma Sambuddhassa Echa Buddha Teta Cha Echa Buddha Nagata Pachup E Buddhaya Hang Vannami Sabbada Nathi me Saranang Anyang Buddho me Saranang Varang Etena Satcha Vajjena Hotu Te Jaya Mangalang Uttamang Ena Vandehang Padapang Sovarottamang Buddheyo kalito doso buddho kamadodang mamang buddhang yava nibbana pariyantang saranang gacchami. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko kaliko yahi passiko panaiko pacchattang veditabbo vinyohite Namo tassa niyani kassa dhammassa Echa dhamma teta cha echa dhamma anagata Pacchuppanna che dhammaya hang vannami sabbada Natti me saranang anyang dhammo me saranang varang Etena Satcha Vajjena Hotu Te Jaya Mangalang Uttamang Ena Vandehang Sanghang Dhamman Chati Vedang Varang Dhammeyo Kalito Doso Dhammo Kamadutang Mamang Dhammang Yava Nibbana Pariyantang Saranang Gacchami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samichi Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yogani Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakhineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyaketang Lokasati Namo Tassa Mahasanghassa Echa Sangha Teta Cha Echa Sangha Nagata Pacchuppanna Che Sanghaya Hang Vannami Sabbada Natti me Saranang Anyang Sangho me Saranang Varang एतेन सच्चपद्येन होतु ते जयमङ्गलम् उत्तमं येन वन्देऽहं सम्मञ्चति विदुत्तमं सङ्घेयो कलितो दोषो सङ्घोकमतुतं ममं सङ्घं यावनिब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छ एवं बुद्धं शरन्तानं धम्मं सङ्घं च भिक्खव भयं वाचं वितथं वा लोमहं सो न हिस्सति घनसारपदित्तेनादीपेनादमुधंसिना त्रिलोकदीपं सम्बुद्धं पूजयामि तमोनुदं गन्धासंहारयुक्तेन सुगन्धिना पूजाय पूजनीयं जनमुत्तमं वर्णगन्धागुणोपेतं नेतं कुसुमसन्ततिं पूजयामि मुनिन्दस्सा शिरे पादासरोरुहे पूजयामि बुद्धं कुसुमेन नेन पुण्येन मित्तेन च होतु मुखं uppang milayate athāye dhamme kāyo tathāyāti vināsabhāvaṃ nirodha samāpatido vadayitva nisinasāviyā bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa iminādīpena dhūpena puppena pujemi 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 Imang de padopapapapajadinama sakala sambuddhanam Pacheka buddhanam Aggasavakanam Mahasavakanam Arahantanam Vakatiselam Aham pite sanganuvatthako homi Imani pappani vannena pisuvannam Gandhena sugandham santhanena susanthanam dubbannam dukkannam dussanthanam papanissate evameva sabbe sankhara nicca sabbe sankhara dukkha sabbe dhamma yanattati Himaya dhammanu dhamma padipattiya buddhang puja Himaya dhammanu dhamma padipattiya dhammang puja Himaya dhammanu dhamma padipattiya sanghang puja Vandami chetiyang sabbang sabbadhane supadithitang Saririka dhātu mahabodhing buddharupang sakaram Yasamule nisinno va sabbāre vijayangaka Patto sabbanyodang satthavandetang bodhipadapam Imeyete mahabodhi lokanathena pujita Aham pite namassami bodhiraja namattute Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Vipatti padivahaya sabba sampatti siddhya Sabba dukkhang vinasaya sabba bhayang vinasaya Sabba rogang vinasaya bhavedihayukadayakam Sabba lokang hitathaya parittang tang vanamahe Samantha cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devata Saddhammang munirajassa sunantu saggamukkadang Dhammasavana kalo yang vadanta Dhammasavana kalo yang vadanta Dhammasavana kalo yang vadanta Parittasavana kalo yang vadanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniyamattha kusalena yantang santang padang avisamecha sakkavajo cha sojo cha suvacho cha samudo natimani santosako cha subharo cha appakiccho cha sallahu kavati santendriyo cha nipako cha kulesu ananugitho Nacha kuddang samachare kinche na vinyo pareyo pavadeyo sukhino vake mino hanto sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta eke chipana bodhatti anavasesa Deghavaye mahantava majjimarasakanukathula Dittavaye vadittaye chadure basante avidure Bhodava sambhave seva sabbe satta Tattha naparo parang nikobbe thanyati manyete kattachinang kanche Dharosana patika sanya manyasya dukkamichaya Mataya dhaniyang puttang ayasaye kaputtam anurakhe Evampi sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye yaparimanang Mettancha sabbalokasaming manasang bhavaye yaparimanang Buddhang adhochariryanchaya sangvadang abherang asapattang Titthancharan nisinno bhasayano bhayavatasya vigatamiddho Etang sati adhikteya brahmamedang viharam nidamaho Dittinchanupagammaselavadasanena sampanno Kameso vinayagedhang nahi jato gabbaseyang punaredete Dukkha patachani dukkha bhaya patachani bhaya Soka patachani soka hunta sabbe vipanino Etena Sabadaye kena saccavajjena hotu te jayamangalang etena saccavajjena patu te ratanadayang sabbe te abhivajjanto sabbarogo vinassato mate bhavatu antarayo sukhe dekhayo bhava Bhavato sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddha anubhavena sada sutte bhavantu te Bhavato sabba mangalang sabba dhamma anubhavena sada sutte bhavantu te Bhavato sabba mangalang devata Sabba sangha anubhavena sada satte bhavantu te nakhataya kabodhanang bhavagdaha nivarana paritassa anubhavena hantu te upadave devo vassatu kalena sassa sampatti hetusha vedo bhavatu logo ca raja bhavatu dhammiko Yang nimittang avamangalanchaya chamanapo Pavadhodus vinakandang buddhanubhavena vinasamento Dhammanubhavena vinasamento Sanghanubhavena vinasamento Akasatthacha bhummatha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu sasanam chirang rakkantu desanam chirang rakkantu mang parang Etavata jamme sambadang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodanto sabbe bodhaya anumodanto sabbe sattaya anumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya nibbana sampatti siddhya idang nyadinang hodo sukhidahantu nyatayo Nirangho nyatinang hoto sukitahantu nyatayo. Nirangho nyatinang hoto sukitahantu nyatayo. Sabbe buddha valappata vacchedanam jayam varam. Arahantanam chadejena rakam bandhami sabbaso. Sabbe dhamma valappattāya ariya saccānañcayam valam dhamma cakka sate jena rakang bandhami sabbaso sabbe sangha valappatā vimuttānañcayam valam sāsanasate jena rakang bandhami sabbaso kāyena vācā cittena Achayang kamami vande vore panya tathagata kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam Achayang kamami dhammo sanditthiko haliko kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam Achayam kamame sangha punya ketang anuttarang imena punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo to yavanibbana patteya irang me punya kamang asavakayang mahang Sabadukang pamochato nibbana sapachayato sadhu sadhu sadhu. It is time to practice meditation for some time. So all of you can sit comfortably. Relax your body and mind. Let go of the thoughts of the past. Let go of the thoughts of the future. And just stay peacefully at this moment. Let your mind be at ease. Be aware of the in-breath and out-breath, breathing in and breathing out. When you are breathing in, be aware how the in-breath goes inside through the nostrils. Breathing out, be aware how the out-breath goes out through the nostrils. Just this much, the awareness of the in-breath and awareness of the out-breath. Allow your mindfulness to stay with the in-breath, out-breath. When you are trying to observe the in-breath and out-breath, mind may go here and there. Mind may get distracted. So if the mind is not with the breath, then be aware that the awareness is moved away from the breath, and then gently go back to the in-breath and out-breath again. You may have to repeat this many times before it settles down. And gently open your That was a short meditation. Awareness of breathing, knowing the breath, because breath is here with us all the time. And if we can know the breath clearly, then we can also understand some of the important aspects of our mind. If our breath is irregular, rough, not smooth, then surely you can observe there are many distracting thoughts or unwholesome thoughts running through the mind. Whereas if our breath is very subtle, smooth, then you can see that the mind that time is peaceful, quiet, not many unwholesome thoughts, not many distracting thoughts. So by knowing the breath, we can know the mind. So it's an indicator of our mind, how the mind is functioning at this point of time. Because ultimately, if we don't know our mind, if we don't know what is happening in our mind, then there is no way we can improve it. There's no way we can get rid of the unwholesome things. Just like if you have a house and then there are lots of insects or dirt or some useless things inside the house, if you don't go inside and look for it, if you don't go inside and check it, you have no idea of knowing from outside what is there inside the house. From outside, it looks okay. But when you go inside, you can see the house isn't really clean. It isn't really full of good things. There are a lot of bad things inside. So it is essential that we take care of our minds, because ultimately it's the mind, if it is rightly developed, well guarded, well developed mind brings happiness. An undeveloped, untrained mind can bring us a lot of suffering. So the Lord Buddha has given certain techniques to develop the mind. Right effort, we call right effort. Right effort is, there are 4 types of right effort that are essential to develop our mind. The first one is called Sangvara, in Pali, the language in which Lord Buddha gave the teachings. It's called Sangvara, restraining. So there should be some level of restraint in our actions and in our mental actions especially. Because mind is the guiding factor of our physical actions. Whatever we do with our body, it starts with our mind. Mind says, I want to eat this, so you go and eat this. Mind says, I want to do this, then you go and do it. It's not the body, it's the mind giving instructions, body just following it. So if the mind has some level of restraint, some level of moderation, then mind is light. If mind has no restraint, if it leaves unrestrained, without any sense of moderation, then our actions also will be without moderation. You like something, you end up eating it so much that it causes sickness. You dislike someone, you go and fight with him so much that ended up fighting or harming or even killing each other. That's the problem with unrestrained mind. It doesn't know the bounds, doesn't know the moderation. It can do anything. So restraint to some extent, moderation to some extent is essential to start with. Whenever wholesome thoughts come, thoughts that are connected with excessive greed, harmfulness, or hatred, we check them. We check them. We don't act upon them. Because if we act upon them again and again, it becomes habit pattern. It becomes a habit pattern of the mind to act upon all kinds of unwholesome things, harmful for oneself, harmful for others. And then it goes out of limits. It goes beyond the boundary. Then it doesn't know. Then it causes great suffering, great harm, great problems. So, some level of restraint. Whenever we have unwholesome thoughts, which are not good for us, which are not good for others, we restrain, we don't act upon them. This is the first level of mental effort, restraint, mental restraint. Then sometimes, even if we wish, sometimes some of the thoughts, we may not be able to check them before they have actually become strong. Because our level of practice, our level of mindfulness, our level of wisdom is not very powerful, maybe to start with. So, some of the things that we wish, may they not arise, may this type of thoughts not come, but they may still come. So, what do we do with them? We give them up, let them go, not hold on to them, not let those thoughts control our mind, or not let those thoughts control our actions. We let them go. This is the second level of mental effort. The first one is restraining of the unwholesome, harmful ones. The second one, letting go, whatever unwholesome has come up, letting them go, not acting on them. Second one. So these are with regard to the unwholesome things that arises in our mind. Restraint and abandoning. But you can't just do it like this. No? Can't just do it. Okay, I will restrain on unwholesome thoughts, and if it comes, I will just give them up. Is it that simple? In practicality, if you look at it, is it that simple? It isn't so simple. So you have to develop certain level of awareness with regard to our own thoughts. What is happening now? What is happening now? Maybe you are talking to people. Giving an example. We're just talking to people. Unknowingly, because our mindfulness is not very strong, unknowingly we are developing some maybe aversion or disliking to this person. Maybe you are talking, but unknowingly we are developing dislike at a subtle level. Do we know it? Maybe we don't know. We don't check it. We don't really check it like that again and again. So if we don't check it, we never know. We think we are talking normally, but actually we are talking with some kind of hatred or aversion or dislike. So what do? We check ourselves, our own mental states. We make it a habit. We make it a habit to check our own mental states. We check this body, no? Time to time, whether the body is hungry, whether the body is thirsty, whether we need to take bath, whether we need to, in the summer season, this type of clothing, in the winter season, this type of clothing, right? And after doing all this, the body doesn't stay stable and permanent. It changes from young to middle age to old age to finally death. Even after doing all this, you can go to any dietitian, any doctor, make a perfect diet chart, and make a perfect exercise or health regimen and follow it. But I guarantee you will still die. I will also die. No big deal. All of us die. If people here, sitting here, people outside, people in this city, people in this country, people all over the world, all living beings, it's the same. So we take care of the body in such different ways, but ultimately it doesn't survive for long. 50, 60, 70, 80. Nowadays it's rare to see somebody living for 100 years. Even if somebody were to live for 100 years, it's still not long enough. You don't really realize, oh, now I'm 90 years old. I was just born as if yesterday. See? Because time passes by quickly. Time passes by very quickly. Days, months, and years go very quickly. Before we realize it's so many years have gone by. So the body is still not stable. And body is still not in charge. Still it has to listen to whatever the mind tells. Mind says, now you go and eat this, it does it. Now you go and drink this, it does it. Now you do this, it does it. It says the mind is in control. And so we must check it. If this is in control, if this is the one managing the affairs, then we must check it time and time again. People say, oh, we have unhappiness, we have dissatisfaction, we have some issues, stress or this or that. Mental issues, unhappiness, dissatisfaction. Where does it arise? Where does dissatisfaction arise? In our mind. If you don't look into it, this mind, how do you know what is happening? Where does this dissatisfaction come to an end? In the same mind, if it has ability to stop it, to let it go. In the same mind. Where it arises, there only it stops. It's just like this. So the first two right efforts are restraining and abandoning of the unwholesome qualities. Why? Because these unwholesome qualities, unwholesome tendencies, if we develop them, if we nurture them, then it becomes a big burden. If we allow uncontrolled greed or attachment or craving, today or tomorrow it brings very big dissatisfaction. If we allow uncontrolled hatred or anger to arise and to grow, today or tomorrow it brings great suffering. Simple. It creates burden. It makes our mind heavier and heavier. We can't keep them. It's like this. You can't, if you have a nice suitcase, if you fill it with garbage, with trash, and then expect nice smell will come from this, it's not a reasonable expectation. Only foul smell will come from this. Similarly, if we keep our mind filled with wrong things, unwholesome things, we can't really expect it to give us the nice results. That's the first two. Then the remaining two. Third one, bhavana, development of the wholesome qualities, whether it is generosity, whether it is loving kindness, whether it is compassion, whether it is any kind of wisdom, whatever wholesome qualities that we may develop, we try to develop them again and again, relentlessly, not letting it drop. Because if it drops, then it goes back to the bad things. Trying to develop the good qualities. That is the third one, bhavana, development. So in practice meditation for this, to drop the unwholesome tendencies that are subtle in the mind, to drop them again and again, so that the right ones can grow. And the fourth one is Anurakhana, protection. Whatever good qualities that we develop, we make sure it is not lost. Today, you develop a mind of loving kindness and compassion. But you remain careless, you remain unmindful, then it may happen gradually this good quality will decline. It will not go up, it will go down, and then slowly it will go away. Then what do you have? You are left with anger, hatred, because your loving kindness and compassion has gone away. You haven't really protected it, nurtured it, kept it intact. You have let it go by, slip out of your hands. So we protect them just like a small sapling. When you plant it, you must make sure that you put a fencing around this. Similarly, when we are trying to develop the good qualities, we must make sure that they are not affected, they are not harmed, they are not destroyed by enemies that are unwholesome qualities. They must grow strong. When it becomes a big tree, then you did not put fencing around it. Then it can protect on its own. No animal can come and eat it. But till the time it grows, it needs that protection. So similarly, when we are starting to develop the wholesome qualities, we must make sure they aren't lost, they aren't forgotten. They must grow. So these four things, restraining and abandoning of the unwholesome qualities, unwholesome things, developing and nurturing the wholesome qualities. These four, we call them right efforts. Samma Vayama. Pali we call Samma Vayama. Right? Effort can be anything. Even a terrorist to blast a bomb, he has to make so many plans. How to make a bomb, where to plant it, how to detonate, so many things. That's also an effort, but that's a wrong effort, based on wrong intentions, based on harmfulness. That's a wrong effort, based on harm for oneself and another. That's not a right effort. The right effort is what? Which is good for us and good for others, which helps us to develop our wholesome qualities, which helps us to reduce our unwholesome qualities. That is the right effort. So these four types of right efforts, they are essential in your day-to-day life also, when you deal with people, when you deal with your family members. If you are reducing your unwholesome qualities, developing your wholesome qualities, it is good, isn't it good for you and your family members? If you just do the opposite, increase your unwholesome qualities and give up your good qualities, is it good for yourself or is it good for your family? It isn't. So everywhere we go, whether it is within the family, within the friends, within the neighbors or relatives, within the place or your workplace, or society at large, if people are seriously trying to develop these right efforts, then people can live and help each other and be, a, be this place, make this place a good place to live in. But if they don't, then it becomes a horrible place, as people have already done. So these four right efforts at the level of our day-to-day life, and also at the level of our practice of Dhamma. Because when we do this, then automatically our mind has a great strength of wholesome, and the damaging or the harmful effects of unwholesome has been cut down. Then automatically it has peacefulness. It has the strength to develop wisdom, right kind of strength to develop wisdom. So whether in our day-to-day life, whether it in your pursuit of your studies or your professional things, or in the pursuit of your spiritual practice, in the practice of Dhamma, it is absolutely essential that we develop these four right efforts again and again. If we do it a little bit and then we give up and then we forget, it never grows strong. It is like half baked. So we do it again and again so that it becomes strong. When it is strong, then it brings us great benefits, great happiness. So with this is our message of Dhamma that we'd like to share with you today. And we wish that you be able to remember and recollect and practice them in your lives. And nowadays, of course, with the help of technology, you have so many, like this YouTube is there. So if you forget, you can still go back to YouTube and check what was said. That is, sometimes this type of things are helpful. And we wish that may all of you keep progressing on the path of Dhamma. This. Sukhi bhaveyang ne doko ahang ne chang ahang mea pita cha me sukhi honto majjata ta cha verino imani gamma ketam hi sattahanto sukhi sada tato parancha rajyesu chakkavale sujantano sadhu. Yeah, next Sunday.